Why there needs to be more rural volunteer firefighters and EMTs. Martin Luther King, an activist in the civil rights movement, once said, "Life's most urgent question is what are you doing for others?" This is the ultimate quote for volunteering through your fire department or EMT service, because no one is ever going to be able to repay you for saving a child's life from a car accident or a human from a burning house. But that is the ultimate satisfaction. Rural communities across the nation and even world need more leaders and go-getters in the form of firefighters and EMTs. According to the National Registry of Emergency Medical Technicians, EMTs treat 25 to 30 million people annually, and firefighters save millions of dollars of property and countless lives from fires each year. In big cities, there is a need for full-time paid firefighters and EMTs, but in small rural communities, it is just not logical to employ an entire group of firefighters or an EMT crew. But while there may not be as many accidents or fires in a rural area, there is still a need for firefighters and EMTs. This is why I believe that young men and women in rural communities should be required to serve for a certain period of time. This experience of giving back to their community will teach them life lessons that they would have never had in any other job. I had the luxury of talking to Andrew Maxey, the head of my town's EMT department, and Mont Weeks, the treasurer of the fire department. And they said times are getting tough for EMTs and firefighters in rural areas. Andrew's team only has four volunteers in the department, and that is just not enough for a call area that spans roughly 30 miles in all directions. At times, Mont has said they've only had about 10 men on the fire department. This means that they must always be on call, even with their other full-time jobs, because there are simply no backups for them. Andrew tried to put on an EMT training course to promote young adults to join, but there is just simply no community members who committed. These small numbers in the volunteer department scare me because at some point there's going to be multiple accidents or fires, and we will need more men and women to help. My solution is we need more men and women in these communities to go through the basic training to become either a firefighter or EMT. This training will prepare more men and women to help out in times of accidents and fires, and it will give members on the departments more of a break. So let's first see what training involves for a firefighter and EMT. To become a firefighter, you should contact your local fire department and ask if you can spend a day with them, such as on a ride-along. Once you've decided you want to become a volunteer firefighter, you must fill out the criteria for an application. You must first be a resident in your local fire district, and then you need to go through a background check, which involves your driving record and criminal record, and you must be 21 years old. And then you need to go to your department and ask what their qualifications are, because that depends from department to department. Such as my town's local fire department, you must attend 3 consecutive meetings and assist on 3 calls before you are considered a full-time volunteer. How to join an EMT service. EMTs provide care for sick and injured people who need emergency medical treatment. This is a high-stakes position that requires people to act quickly and accurately, thinking on their feet as they care for patients in chaotic situations. There is a 24% increase in need of the EMT occupation, which is one of the fastest growing rates of any occupation, according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. This means that EMT services are needed in urban areas too. Steps to becoming an EMT. You're first required to take about a 6 to 2 year course, which requires 120 hours of coursework. In that, students learn how to assess patients, handle emergency situations, and how to properly use the field equipment. And on a side note, most programs require enrollees to become certified in CPR before beginning the class. Then, after you pass the 120-hour course load, you must pass a national or state exam to become certified, and that exam is administered through the NREMT. One thing to remember during training is joining a fire department or EMT won't be all glamour and happiness. There will still be great tragedies and fatalities. You'll see some of the worst things imaginable. If this isn't something for you, then I understand, and no one should be pressured into doing it. but I still believe you should be required to go through the basic training before you make a decision on whether you want to do it or not. Some people can just not handle blood or graphic accidents, but there's going to be tough times, and someone must be there to do the dirty and hard work. And the people who do these challenging jobs are people who I look up to. I also talked to Andrew and Mont about why they sacrifice their own time to get back to the community, and I got 2 answers. Both of them different, but both of them are why people should volunteer. Andrew said it was simply fun being an EMT. You're there at a person's worst time, he said, when someone is almost completely helpless, sometimes hanging on to life. You're there for them, and the best part is they'll never be able to repay you for what you did for them. Andrew also said it teaches you humility and how quickly life can end. Mont gave up his own time for the fire department because he felt it was needed. He said if you're capable of doing things for your community and don't, then you're not doing your best to protect your friends and their property, and most importantly, your loved ones. Mont's example was the wildfires of northeastern Colorado. While the fires did destroy many acres of grass, volunteer firemen were able to help out the neighbors by stopping the fires before they got to homes or worse, towns. These volunteer firemen put their lives on the line to save livestock, homes, and lives. Both Andrew and Mont said volunteering is a rewarding experience because of the appreciation and sense of fulfillment you receive from it. They said it is special when, regardless of background, social status, or attitude, a group of men and women come together as a team to give back to their community. It gave them another family, they said. Fellow members of the department are some of their best friends. They said their friends have the same viewpoints as them, and they are there for them just as they are there for their communities. Now I just want to close up on a famous quote by Muhammad Ali, a Hall of Fame boxer. Service to others is the rent you pay for your room on earth. This is life in a nutshell. You'll have moments of joy in your life, but until you look at the bigger picture and help others, you will not know true happiness. And what better way to help others than giving back to your own community by saving property and, most importantly, lives. Thank you.